Welcome to Video 5, What You Say Matters. I'm Bev Drew, your facilitator for these videos about using motivational interviewing to talk with youth about alcohol. In the last video, I talked about listening, which is a big part of communication. Speaking is the other part of communication, and there are some very specific communication strategies used in MI. These communication skills are what I will cover in this video. The four main communication strategies in motivational interviewing are reflective listening, summarizing, asking open-ended questions, and providing affirmations. Reflective listening is like holding up a mirror. The person says something. You really listen, and then you provide a statement that reflects back the essence of what the person has said to you. Reflections really help the person see themselves through your words. And reflections are really good at encouraging a person to keep talking. There are simple reflections that just repeat or rephrase what the person said. These statements don't add anything different, so they're really like the top of the iceberg above the water. Complex reflections go deeper, often stating what we think might be there, reading between the lines, saying more than what the person has said. And there are different types of complex reflections. Double-sided reflections reflect both sides of their ambivalence. There's a part of you that wants to continue partying with your friends, and another part that thinks it might be time to slow it down. That's a good double-sided reflection. There are two strategies to use when you make a double-sided reflection. Use and instead of but between the two sides. When you use the word but, it adds judgment. So and makes it that both sides have value for that person, and it does. The second strategy for a double-sided reflection is to make sure you end the statement on the side of change. Most people talk about the last thing they hear, so ending it on the side of the possibility of change means they'll likely start talking about that. Here's a few examples. You want to keep having fun with your friends drinking, and you want to have a healthy baby. You like going to bush parties, and it worries you when your friends drive drunk. Another type of complex reflection is to add feeling or meaning. What do you think is under there? What do they mean by that? Right? So you sort of go under the iceberg. They might not have talked about what they feel, but you're adding it, right? You feel really betrayed by your friends. Another type of complex reflection is a metaphor. A metaphor is like painting a picture for someone, and it can be really effective. It's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's like you're on a runaway train and there's no brakes. Finishing the paragraph is another complex reflection. It means you add something to the end of their sentence, guessing at what might be there. It always starts with the word and you want to graduate, and you're thinking of breaking up with her. Let's consider an example. If a youth says to us, "I feel so alone." A repeat would be, "You feel so alone." A rephrase might be, "You feel like you're on your own." Bit of a different wording, but it means the same. A double-sided reflection might be, "You feel so alone and want to figure out how to get someone on your side." Adding feeling or meaning might be, "You want someone to share your troubles and your triumphs with." A metaphor, it's like you're alone on a boat drifting on the ocean. Finish the paragraph or finish the sentence, and you would like support from your parents. In the resource section of this website, you can find a practice that you can do that is called reflective listening. So you can take some of the statements that are there and practice using reflections. A summary is also a strategy of communication. It's when you take the essence of what they've said and summarize it either throughout the conversation or at the end of the conversation. A good strategy in a summary is to make sure you include some change talk, maybe something about their strengths. It's like taking a bigger part of their words and sort of reflecting that story back to them. And as helpers, we have a tendency to ask a lot of questions. We're curious. We want to know the answers to things. So we ask questions. And there's two types of questions: closed questions and open-ended questions. Closed questions typically elicit a really brief response. Yes, no, I'm fine, I'm 30 years old. And it's usually when we want to collect some information that we're curious about. Maybe it helps us do an assessment we have to do. Unfortunately, they can feel like an interrogation for the youth being questioned. Closed questions also mean that we're directing the conversation, we're driving the car, we're behind the wheel. Open-ended questions, on the other hand, allow the youth to drive the car, to go where they're comfortable going, to talk about what's important to them. It also typically means that they will talk more than the service provider, and this is what we're aiming for. A few examples of good open-ended questions. Tell me about yourself. How does alcohol fit into your life? What, if anything, would you change about what you and your friends do on the weekends? What do you wish would happen? What reasons do you have to consider reducing your alcohol use? How would you see your life after you graduate? In the resource section of this website, you can practice turning closed questions into open-ended questions. Another communication strategy is affirmations. Affirmations are when we notice a strength or a character trait and we say it out loud. Using this strength-based lens is important, and it can be practiced. An affirmation must be genuine. You must really feel it, something you really see and believe. And it should also be specific. Instead of saying, "good job," be more specific and describe exactly what you mean. You're a loyal friend looking after your buddy when he was sick. An affirmation is also always about them and not about you. So leave out the I. I'm proud of you. I know you can do it. That's more like praise or cheerleading. Start the affirmation with the word you. You have shown so much determination taking this class over again and working hard to pass it. You've really found a way to balance taking care of your baby and succeeding at school. You must be feeling very proud of yourself. You're very busy with exams and papers, and still you found time to come see me. If you'd like to practice making affirmations, you can look up the affirmation practice in the resource section of the website.